just talking to Lee Cox. We do this all the time. Our segment, we probably should, it could start 2 minutes early, but we just, sit there talking.
You're the son I always wanted.
I just love talking with you, though. I mean, there's so many great things always happening around town, and whether or not it's, with auditions for another show coming up or maybe one getting ready to take off, life's pretty good right now for Alton Little Theater.
I carry my calendar with me because every time I book an appointment, I'm like, I think that'll be okay, and then I'll get home and go, no, I already had an appointment that day.
So is it one of the most nerve-wracking things for that, just to get like your hair appointment put in there because you're going, oh no?
Oh yeah, and I work with 4 guys, so I tell them I've got to go get color, I'm getting a bikini, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing microdermaplaning or something, and they're like, what? And I'm like, you guys don't have to worry about this.
I know the microderm though. I used to do those.
Yeah.
Perfect for the skin.
Perfect for the skin. Brings out all the collagen, keeps you young looking, yeah.
Well, with that being said, on top of everything, is it hard for you guys to stay focused on, because you have Spamolot and then, coming up for Beer for Breakfast audition soon?
Yes, and I have to shift my focus just for auditions. I mean, I've read the play several times. I know the show. The assistant director and I have met. Thankfully, it's a small cast show, just 3 wonderful guys and a girl.
Now, is it a lot better for the in terms of getting everything organized? I'm assuming with the smaller cast.
Well, yes. But they have a boatload of lines.
Gotcha.
And some people in even their late 40s or 50s, which is the age range I'm kind of looking for, they don't want to part with a boatload of lines. And it's one of those things that there are bedrooms and they go to the bedroom or they go to the bathroom, they escape, but they're on all the time. So there's no going back and checking my lines or whatever. They're stuck in this cabin, and I found the most beautiful cabin when I was in Louisville, and the architect actually used to work at Lewis and Clark.
Really?
I couldn't believe now he's in Kentucky. And he builds replications of log homes, and he builds them as kind of vacation places for people. And so we got friendly. He let us take a tour. He showed me how he did the pegs and the coatings and everything. So I got all his pictures. So Kevin knows exactly the cabin I want that's stuck in the woods in a snowstorm. And the guys, of course, are thinking, oh, we're going to eat pizza and brats and chips, and we're going to have beer for breakfast if we want. And then the wife of their oldest friend shows up.
Oh,
and
no.
And one woman, they're sitting around in their underwear and everything. And it's like, oh. And then we find out in this long night where they play games and things come out, we find out a little bit about history and why she's there. And her husband is a very polished politician on his way up, like some people you and I see on the news and go, ooh. I think I might use a picture of somebody I know in Florida. But anyway, it turns out that, of course, she's had a past relationship with one of the guys, and it ended badly. So the other two are trying to, get that back. Because it's not easy. You have, kind of tension and a big fight.
Right.
And you're in a small cabin.
Well, I just think this is great because you're really going to have the cast is going to have to be really intimate on those scenes, too, and really deliver that message home. But, speaking of the talking head thing, I have just come to realize the people that are the talking heads now are getting, they used to actually be handsome, or it just seems like now the high definition's really kicking in.
Yes.
And we can see the city miles on it,
Well, and I kept thinking, because I don't know about you, but I loved Indiana Jones. Mm-hmm. But everybody was complaining about the first 20 minutes that AI de-aged him.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought he looked great. It made me remember the Indiana Jones I fell in love with. But I thought, oh gosh, everybody's going to want that now. It's not just Photoshop. Everyone's going to say, can you just AI and de-age me whenever I'm on TV. We're never going to know. Is that real?
We're going to get to the point where all of our favorite anchors will be bald, but we have no idea who they are because on television they'll have the big pompadour still, you know?
Yes, exactly. Well, I love all these movies that they're kind of an homage to the 80s. Yeah. And I just watched Air again. I just thought that was just a brilliant ensemble. Mm-hmm. But I also loved, and my kids and my grandkids were with me, and they were like, what's in that room? I said, that's how big computers used to be. And then they go over and pick up a rotary phone. They're like, what does the cord do? No, that's how you use the phone.
So with that being said, circling back to Beer for Breakfast, is that how you and Kevin kind of bounce and switch roles? So that way one can focus on the auditions and is that how that works?
It used to work that way. In theory, that would be lovely. But he actually gets a break now. His wife is retiring in October, and they deserve and want to travel a little bit. So I'm doing the September show, the November show, the December, he's doing the Christmas show, but I'm having auditions for the studio series, and I start that in December. I don't get a break until February, and then he takes February. I have March, and together we have May. So,
there you go.
Yeah, we have it planned out at least 12 months in advance.
That's just incredible.
But we have to, really, because if we have a chance of even getting out of town or holidays, we try very hard not to have the two of us be out of town at the same time. It happened when we were in Louisville. It was not nice.
It always never fails, though. You know, you think, well, maybe this is the time where, you know, everyone just forgets for a couple of days.
We thought we had everything done, but boy, that phone, I could, you put it on airplane mode, I can feel it vibrate. I'm like, what are they doing?
Well, it's not like you can just hop up the road, too. You know, that might take you half a day to get there.
Well, absolutely. We stopped by Charleston to see the costumes for Spamolot, which I'm so glad we did that, because you probably heard 122 costumes for 22 people. In 2 hours and 10 minutes, the costume parade alone and backstage is not that huge with all the props. Now all the props are there. They were around. The last time you were there, they were just lying around everywhere. They're back there. And then most of the performers have 2, 3, 4 pairs of shoes, because they have tap shoes, they have jazz shoes, they have boots, they have sparkly heels for the wedding, all that kind of stuff. But it's so much fun.
I want to know what the average time a costume's on the stage at what being worn.
Well, King Arthur basically wears the same ensemble the whole time. Now, we gave him fake teeth so that when he can't whistle and his teeth fall out, I mean, we made another joke out of it, but he loves it. And he's had his equestrian boots. I bought him new boots, and they're just fabulous. And he's been wearing them, and now he finally can dance in them and things like
that's
that.
Something I didn't even think about was breaking in the shoes.
Oh, yes. Even when you buy good boots, it takes a while. You have Band-Aids on your heels for a while, and I got them really good boot socks, but then you have to get several pairs. They can't wear those all the time.
Your castmates will thank you if you don't.
Yes. And I don't think it's giving too much away. The Black Knight was probably the hardest costume, and even the costumer had someone else build it, and she said, I can't explain to you how it works, because it's all done with magnets, so that when he fights and he loses both his arms and his legs, we can't obviously have an expendable actor. So, and Shay's one of our tap dancers. So he's like, so I have tap shoes, jazz shoes, black boots, and then I have other riding boots when I'm in night. Yeah, that's right.
Well, and now, so is there, does it help though having the different shoes? Because with this one, I'm thinking it wouldn't matter if you had, like with Violet Sharp, you just switched into different, shirts and things.
Tops,
but
jackets
now you're
or sweaters.
changing everything off.
Oh, yes, because the way it's written, and Eric Idle, I love him, but crazy. He must have, I told you, he must have been high when he wrote this show. He goes from scene to scene. There's no break. There's no break whatsoever, and they totally switch, and he has all of the lead nights. The name Galahad, Lorian plays Robin, who is not really a night in history, but it's supposed to be like Robin Hood, things like that. But he has them be a peasant in the beginning, and then they get knighted. They switch into a knight when King Arthur finds them. But then they go and become the enchanter. They become the French taunter. So then they have to get out of all their knight stuff and put that on. And we had to figure in the dances, okay, you need to leave in this verse. You need to leave because you have to come back in 47 seconds and be up in the tower.
Well, and too, with the musical number, especially if you're changing throughout the number too, I'm sure on some you might have. Do you have a costume change throughout one of the numbers, or is it all?
Mostly the numbers, I think, should be, although some added, like the can of Spam, dancing Spam comes in and things happen. But bunnies get switched out. The props will change. Because we have gone through coconut bowls. Who would have thought the fortune I would have spent? But that's what we use for the clopping hooves on the horse. And they break. And now the guy who's doing Arsenio Gaines, he's our choreographer, he did the last number last night. It's an homage to Gene Kelly. It's a wonderful number. They use umbrellas and they build the whole number, but it starts out with this little West Side Story thing that starts it, and everybody has the coconut bowls. We broke 3 of those and one of the umbrellas, and the first time we did it.
Oh no!
So Kevin said, "Can you get on Amazon and get some more here quick?" And I said, "Sure, I can."
Well, and see what that, I didn't even think about that, because when Todd was over doing the interview with us and he was banging on the coconuts, I thought, man, those things are kind of sturdy,
Oh, but see, he jumps up and one fell out of his backpack. Plus, he is so good. You'll love the number. King Arthur does not tap. He's not a tapper. But he fakes it, and Todd is on the floor behind him.
Oh, my God.
Doing the tap. And then Todd sticks his leg out, and he's like really into it. And he's right at his feet. So, I mean, Arthur can't take even an inch back, but it works very well, and everybody will laugh at that scene.
I think that's what's going to make this such a scene. I have a big feeling about this show. I really do. I have just a really great feeling, because to me, you got to have the right cast for a performance like this.
And when you have this gifted cast, and we do, I just love these people. And then Kevin is a very gifted director, and I don't just say that because he's my friend. He really is. Like last night, even in the number, Arsenio is a great choreographer, but sometimes this goes so fast, Kevin could see, no, he needs to turn right and pick up the umbrella and swing around, not look for it. The other person has to be there. It's all a matter of timing.
Well, and see, that's another great thing, because I was watching just the last couple of times, just watching how you direct a performance, how Kevin does, and seeing what how the styles are a little bit different. But you guys have to study. And that's what I think is such a huge takeaway, too, is, when you're watching it, you're listening to the lines, but I notice, you're kind of checking around, hey, how does that look over there, though? Should he be in that position or maybe take a step forward? I could see you guys doing that, and I think that's why these are always such great performances.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, we don't want there to be a bad seat in the house. No. I mean, I understand some people with mobility issues, they want to sit really close, vision or hearing, but even in the handicap, which is way on the side, but I want to make sure they have full access, which is, again, how you have to build the walls. They can't be straight on. Even in this cabin I'm going to do in September, I have to kind of fake the roof and everything because it can't cover, because then you'd get shadows everywhere. And the doors have to actually go at an angle, and everything has to come out as if it's the porch. She talks about the porch, and the porch isn't really in the show, but...
That is just incredible. So we're talking right now. It is Theater Thursday. You can follow along at altonlittletheater.org. That's altonlittletheater.org. July 21st, day one of Spamolot.
And you saw on the website the young girl who walks on stilts first time in her life. And she is 7 foot tall, so she's almost as tall
in real
as
life.
the castle. Well, no. No, the robe, because she was doing okay, and she has a stick. I did this, enchanter stick, and then I said, and now you have to put on this 7-foot coat, and she goes, and she's a little bitty thing. She's like,
That was the most exciting part of doing our taping last week, was seeing the stilt action. I'm telling you what, the amount of just creativity, to me though, and just me asking, because I don't know anything about casting people, is it one of those where you just have to know that this person's going to be enjoying it and be living every moment on stage? Because you have to love everything that you're doing with this performance.
And when we make those designations, like technically the head Knight of the Knees is supposed to be this big, powerful guy. And Chris is just wonderful. He's like, I'm not getting up on those things. I'll kill myself. So then we're like, who's the tiniest dancer we got here? Well, it was Becca Beach. And so we put her up there and gave her the staff and everything. And she's such a good sport. They can make your calves ache after a while. But Nick Trapp, years ago, we built them for him when we did the Addams Family, and he walked the entire route of the Halloween parade, even, downhill where it comes down.
Yes.
It was amazing. And then he did Robert Wadlow. We've used those handmade stilts again and again because, the suit was $600 just to get, because they do it for stilt walkers,
right.
and I had to get it custom made so he could play Robert Wadlow in Vintage Forces. But we've gotten our use out of those. But those guys have big calves. She has these skinny little, calves, so we had to get double tape.
I was going to ask if that's what you did.
Oh, yeah. It takes her a while to get in it now, and somebody else has to do it. She has to sit up on a riser and get them on, and everybody has to do her thing. Then she stands up. And,
oh, my goodness.
And it's like a 4-minute scene. So
well, and that's the thing, to me, just because I've never been on stilts, but I just think you got to have some pretty tight core muscles to be able to move in that too. That's no easy feat.
Yes, yeah. It does work. It actually has artificial shoes, kind of knee length or a little below, and so she just has to walk straight leg. But that made it easier for them. The painters still. I don't know how they do those, but this, at least she has some illusion of she's walking and the bottoms just go with her.
Now that's better, because when you were talking about the painter stilts, I went, oh my goodness, that's going to be a show in itself.
When Alton High did it, and they loaned us a pair, and I thought, these are never going to work for her.
Yeah.
They were just not sturdy enough. We built ours out of wood, so she has, it's a lot of wood to carry around.
Well, and too, you're right, though, because with doing musical numbers and things and moving around in any motion, might want to have some more sturdy material just in case.
Yeah. But I like that scene because it's part of the nonsense, but also the wittiness. Like the knee knights, there's a word that sends them into spasms. Like they can't use this word. And so the knights keep talking, and then we keep trying to figure out, what is the word? It'll be interesting to see if the audience figures it out.
That is just incredible. We're talking all things Monty Python. Spamolot, July 21st, 2nd, 26th through the 29th in the evenings, 7:30 p.m. But for the matinee goer out there like myself, July 23rd and the 30th, I'm bringing a whole crew.
Oh, good.
I am. We're all excited because we're all. It just, to me, this performance is going to be one of the best, I think, in a long time. I really have such a great feeling.
We were so lucky to get this.
Yeah.
Everybody has said, how did you get the rights? Because they know there's a national tour starting in September, but we were very lucky. And as I've said before, if you think you don't like Monty Python, you still need to come to this.
Yep.
There's a little bit of his shtick in there and silliness. And in fact, in the Holy Grail, in the original movie, there were no females.
Right.
The females, they dance, they sing, they change up. They're eye candy, but but they're a big, big part of the story. So that it really covers, as I said, 8 major movies and then little bits of things at Broadway shows.
Yeah.
And if you like Broadway shows, you'll love this because, of course, Robin Hood discovers that that's his holy grail, is to be in musical theater. He became a knight and he said, I thought it was about dressing up and dancing. I I didn't know about the fighting. I don't like to fight.
Well, and see, that's why I think this is just incredible. I really mean that, because there's so many moving parts. And for this show, it's one of those where I take it as like, I don't know if you've ever seen like a Family Guy Star Wars episode where they pull all the movies and there's always going to be a big, a scene that someone likes or gets enjoyment out of. When they go and see it, Monty or Spamolot, they'll go, oh my God, I forgot all about that. Oh my God.
Yes.
But the problem will be if we go see this national tour in September, we'll go, well, that's not right. They did this differently at Alton Little Theater, and that's the way we should be doing it. They could fly people. They have a higher space, at the Fox than we do. Well, I love the lady in the lake. She is awesome.
Towards the end, she says, well, we're in a Broadway musical. And she's like, but now we have to have a quest and then a wedding. And again, the wedding is just superfluous, because he finally says, by the way, what's your name? I'm in love with you. And she says, Guinevere.
With that being said, do you have time to stick around?
Oh, absolutely.
I got to take a quick break, but we are talking all things Monty Python Spamolot. When we come back, we'll talk Circus Kaput, season tickets, and we'll circle back to auditions for Beer for Breakfast. A lot of great stuff coming down the pipeline after 2 minutes of a quick one in the heart of the Riverbend.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit AltonToyota.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Mungan Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers, and they will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Mungan Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Mungan Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
She's a bad man, Gemma.
Circus Kaput is coming out until August 12th. Save me, Lee Cox.
It is a wonderful thing, and I know there's a little teaser that I think, or I heard that the library was having. That's not the whole show. This was actually started as an outreach by the Fox Theater. They wanted to have an outside circus tent that they could even raise the flap so that people had more air and weren't sitting in. They wanted kids to have something to do, and we don't do a lot of kids shows. I mean, like Spamolot, we say maybe 10 and older. So we thought right before school, the weekend before school, this would be so much fun for families to come together. Free refreshments. We're furnishing
That's awesome.
There'll be popcorn and ice cream everywhere, probably. But I just want the kids to have fun because it's an 85-minute straight through and audience participation. And the kids love to get on stage and be part of the magic. And then, you know, their families can take pictures. It's the one time we say, yeah, you can take a picture during the show. And they have 20 performers, and then they just have 4 or 5 come to a different venue. They come look at the space. We couldn't do aerial because because of our lights are too low. We try,
Right.
but they do a lot of acrobatics and things like that, and with wheels and circles and things. They just are really fun people, and so I think that'll be fun.
Well, talk about a perfect way to, really wrap up the summer, because you guys had such success with this actor series that you guys did, or actors courses you were doing, and I heard nothing but positives.
Oh, good. I'm glad, because the kids are wonderful,
Yeah.
and particularly the older teens. I'm impressed by just how prepared they are, and they write well. The younger ones, they have fun. Their attention span is like a gnat, but I know that from having kids and having grandkids. So you just have to keep it going. 95 minutes doesn't sound like long until you've got 18, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, and then you're like, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going.
Well, and that's the thing, because with what you were just saying with the older performers or older kids, do you think it has something to do with us being able to go back and look at plays and look at and do research? Do you think that ever helps it?
I think, but some of them have been in either church plays or high school plays, and so they've had a little touch of it, but they want to audition. They want to get a lead role, and I can't guarantee that, but I can definitely help them do a better audition.
Right.
And now they know what directors look for and the versatility, and we have them do a lot of comedy, but a little serious once in a while, and I'm amazed at how much they'll share of their own lives. And I'm sure in the teen programs you guys ran here, you just saw kids that this was their escape. This was their safe place. And that was for Kevin and I, too. It was our home and our place away from abusive environments at home. So.
Well, and that's the thing. And that's why I love what you're doing, because, we always talk about sports. And, I was an athlete in high school and all that. My dad's a soccer coach. But it's great to make sure that, kids that maybe aren't athletes, that have no interest in playing sports or hitting a, damn baseball, that they have an escape. They have something to try that's new, like Alton Little Theater or, any of the other activities that are out there. We need to highlight those things, and what you guys are doing is just really special with that. So with that being said, Monty Python Spamolot, we talked about it for, only 30 minutes. July 21st through the 29th, July 21st, 22nd, and then July 26th through the 29th. Those are the evening shows at 7:30, then July 23rd and 30th, the matinee, 2 p.m. That's a great time, by the way.
Yes,
it really is.
They can go out to dinner, they can go out to lunch before, or dinner
Well,
afterwards.
you know what I like? I'm not having to get up early. Too, because if I go over across the river, if I did something over there, you got to get up early. You got to hope you don't get hit with the ongoing war zone that's 270.
Yes,
maybe a pothole blows your tire out. Who knows? You plan accordingly. With this, get up, go get some breakfast, head on over to the theater, then afterwards have a nice afternoon out. And courtesy of your Alton Little Theater showplace, turning 90 on July 21st. So Beer for Breakfast auditions start next week?
Yes, on the 15th at 10 a.m. And open auditions. You don't have to come prepared. It's going to be cold readings from the script. And I might have you do a scene with someone else, because this is really about camaraderie. And I need the cast to, we can imagine they were all in high school at the same time. They don't have to be the same age, but we have to imagine that they were all in high school at the same time.
I get what you're I get it.
They're all having their little midlife crisis in different ways. And we see that things change dramatically after high school. The most popular kid doesn't necessarily do well, and the underdog is very much the nicest guy and succeeding and kind of brings everybody together. And it's just, it's fun, and it's got a little bit of a serious tone. I mean, it's a cliche. People stuck in a snowstorm in a cabin, but it changes when the guys think it's just their turf, and they think of all the things they're going to do, and then one woman shows up and changes everything.
Talk about an odyssey, huh?
Yes.
With that being said, so what are you looking for directly? So if someone's listening today, maybe they, are going, I'm getting back into this, or I'm going to call Lee or go to these auditions. Is it just, if you're 35 to 50, or maybe a little bit older than that?
Probably a little older.
Okay.
I'd prefer at least 43 to 53, somewhere. That 10 years again, but just a little older, because I kind of know a couple of people might come, but I don't precast, and they know that.
Yeah.
They absolutely know that we love to cast new people, or people who said, I did a show here 20 years ago, Todd McCauley.
Right.
I had totally forgotten. He was in Guys and Dolls 17 years ago. He looked totally different. He just moved from New York, and, he has that great New York accent. And I was like, oh my God. And he said, I love working here, but I live in St. Charles, but he said, I will be here every night if you'll cast me as Patsy. And he's just incredible. So I feel the same way about this role. I don't have anybody in mind. I have some people who asked me if they could read the script or they wanted to know about it. So I'd love to have at least a dozen people to choose from. That's what any director wants.
Well, and that's good to know, too, because I'm sure, and I don't know anything about theater, but I know just my pro wrestling stuff that you go and you there's always a few folks that are out there and running shows that do things a little differently and have, someone picked and things. So it's good to know, always good to know that you don't have that here. You're going to go and...
We don't precast, but we do rehearse Monday through Friday. And a lot of theaters will do 5 or 6 weeks and do 2 or 3 nights. I'm like, no. We start rehearsals on August 9th and open September 15th. You get Labor Day off.
Yeah. And that's, and that's the thing, because we all watch you guys on stage and we see the final piece, but just from my experience of going the last couple of months and seeing all the work that's going into this, choreographers, people seeing if their wardrobe's still fitting, or if there's nothing broken in their props. I mean, all those things.
Yes.
I mean, it's just... Honestly, it's nuts how you're able to get this all done in 30 days or a month and a half to get a performance on.
It's kind of training. I look back because I have been the little prop girl for over 40 years and started doing costumes about 15 years ago. And I love those. That's why producing, the elements that I love about the show is I get the lights done. I find the things. I find the people and I find the things. And then I give it to Kevin and say, here's your palette. Go play. But I like to do, I love musicals, but I like to do character study. I do subtext. I do a lot of research. Kevin's about timing and funny. So together we make a great team, but he loves musicals. Really, 1 a year would be enough for me to do.
Right.
I love seeing them.
Right.
But they are exhausting.
I could only imagine. And just like, you should have seen us during our tapings. It was because there's so many scenes and you got to get back in there. It was like,
we're on 7 minutes. Yep. Now that has to move here. Oh, the girls are trying that on.
And it was like, all right, you'll have them back here at 7:37. All right, it's 7:37. We'll be back. Get up and go. Well, and I'm telling you, whether or not it's Monty Python, Spamolot, whether or not it's Circus Kaput, or Beer for Breakfast, or any of the other amazing shows coming down the pipeline, you're going to have fun at all of this because we're celebrating a big milestone.
A big milestone, 90. And for $85, you can see all the main stage shows.
There you go.
And even the extra things, it's either 20 or 25. So I figured it out for like $135. You can be entertained every month of the year.
So here's my thought. I was thinking about this, actually. I thought, how can I put, my little spin on this? For 3 footlongs, you know how much that is? $38.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So for 3 footlongs, it's $38. Or for $20, you can go to the Alton Little Theater Showplace and be able to get something to eat, really get to mingle. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, that's my biggest call to action is you guys are so affordable. I mean, it's honestly more affordable to go to Alton Little Theater than it is to go out and grab a bite to eat.
Oh, absolutely. Particularly the way the costs have increased.
You ain't kidding.
And we have tried to really keep that down. And next Wednesday, the Riverbend Growth Association. So if anybody is a business or is a member of that, because they have over 200, we're hosting the open house, and it's totally free. Well, I think the Growth Association has a registration fee, but from our end, Post Commons is doing all the food. We have an open bar. We'll have tours of the building, because I think people think this is like a little high school production. No, we're at the top tier of community theaters.
Well, and thank you for highlighting that too, because I'm not going to, I think a lot of us do, because if we've never been inside, we go, oh, well, that's, neat. That's cool.
Nice. Yeah. They do those little plays. But
I'm telling you what, you walk in, and I was talking to, I can't remember, I think it was the Park and Rec director. We were talking about just how amazing the show place is, because he said the same thing I did. These plays are just amazing. He bought his wife a season pass, or the last season, and said, I'm hooked. We're hooked. I got to keep coming.
Oh, good.
And that just shows, I mean, really, the individual's never been inside before, really just becoming just day one. Yes. All right, we're going to the next one.
Yes.
Shows you're doing something right, I think.
I think we are. But again, I know it's hard for people because in our older days, we started small too. And, but we really want to be professional without paying our actors, because you cross that line and I don't know how you would exist.
Yeah.
And so we love that we still, at least at this point, can find actors. I feed them. I'm sweet to them. I buy them throat code. But we can't pay them. But, we have all paid staff, so we run like a business, and then they're the volunteers who bring their talent.
That's really unique, though. I didn't realize that's how it worked, but to me, though, it's the formula for success, because for 90 years you guys have been here, and whether or not, I don't even say landmark locally, I think you're landmark regionally, and definitely in terms of community theater.
I think so too,
because
according to the American Association of Community Theaters, there's 102 theaters in the whole country that are as old as we are. Some are even 100. That's on the East Coast, the 13 original colonies. But they rate them, and to be rated in the top of the third tier, you have to have an operating budget of at least $250,000 to $1 million. There are some theaters, community theaters. One's in Michigan, one was in Naples, Florida, that was devastated by the hurricane.
Oh, no.
But they're rebuilding. They had insurance. You got to have insurance. But that's how they rate it. How many productions you do, what your operating budget is your staff paid, are you open 12 months out of the year, those things. Where some theaters they're renting space, and they can only do 2 or 3. And I wish them well. I mean,
absolutely.
They have some great people, and we love to get them, and I want them to succeed. But we worked really hard to get to this point.
You ain't kidding. That's my biggest takeaway is all the work, the sweat, the tears, blood from Kevin, hitting his thumb with the hammer, you name it. All of these things that you guys did to get.
His body's a map of scratches and bruises.
I mean, the work that everyone had to do to get to this point, though. I mean, there's a reason you guys are a mainstay and a staple. And I say landmark for a reason, because you really are. I mean, you're one of the 5 buildings I think of when I think of Alton. That's the truth. So with that being said, Lee Cox, we've talked for 40 minutes, and you got to get back to work.
I do. They're working on that mailing going, where is she? She's just playing hooky.
She'll be back soon. With that being said, I hope to see you guys at Monty Python Spamolot at Circus Kaput.
Come say hi to me.
Yes, and say hi to me too, because I get lonely out there. I'm always the awkward guy that's sitting by myself sometimes, so I never know what to do. It's like if I stare, because I don't like to be on my phone, so if I stare, am I the weirdo? Have you ever had that happen?
No, because I'm a people watcher, so I'm probably staring with you. See, I teach my students, observe people. You're going to learn so much. Just watch people. People are fascinating.
And watch the very fascinating people from Monty Python Spamolot, July 21st through the 29th, and matinees on the 23rd and 30th. Circus Kaput, August 12th, but we'll be talking before then.
Yes, we will. Come out for auditions. I want new blood.
July 15th, correct?
Yeah, 10 a.m. Saturday. Yep.
There you go. For Beer for Breakfast, we need 3.
3 wonderful guys.
They're waiting for you at Alton Little Theater. Yeah. I'm ready for that. And if you go because of the show, just let Lee know that you will be CJ's favorite. It's 10 o'clock in downtown Alton. Lee Cox, I'm looking forward to Monty Python Spamolot.
Thank you. We'll see you there.
We'll see you there, too.